So welcome to Warrior Wednesday. The middle of the week seems to be when people are struggling. So I wanted to make sure that we're touching base with you and we're reaching out and answering some of your questions and making sure that, we're giving you sort of that motivation midweek and getting everybody motivated and going so you guys can not only start your week strong, but end your week strong. And today we're going to talk about criticism. So I get a lot of people talking about how frustrated they get for various reasons. So it just seems to be mindset seems to be a big stumbling block for people, not only in their health journey, but just in life in general. It can trip people up. It can cause people to get frustrated, depressed, all sorts of things, right? So we want to make sure that we are just checking in. I think your tribe is just so important for helping you through this. And I know for me, this used to be almost paralyzing. So when I was younger, I used to be so worried about what people thought. And, I just think it's so important to develop a skill set as well as a tribe to really help you deal with criticism, but also help you figure out how important is it. Okay, so I want you to think about one thing. This was brought up to me by our friend Byron Katie, and I just love this expression. I used to really struggle with it a lot. And she said to me one day, she said, what people say about you, what they think about you is really none of your business. And it was really hard to grasp. It took a little bit of work for me to really wrap my brain around that. But it's so true. What people say about me is really none of my business. And I'm going to be really honest. One of the reasons I was really struggling with it when I was talking to her was because I didn't want to be married to somebody who was really well known. So I didn't want to be involved in a lifestyle. I never thought I would be married to somebody who was either a public figure, certainly not somebody really famous, or I like my anonymity. So I don't want to be in the public eye where I'm criticized. I never did want to. So I had to really think about that. What does it mean, when people criticize you? Because I have to tell you, our lives aren't different than anybody else's. The only difference when a lot of people know who you are. So just imagine people who are famous, right? They're under this constant public criticism. Your problems aren't different. They're just bigger. Okay. So the more people know you, the more money you have, the more fame you have, the more anything you have, your problems are not less. I promise you. And they're not really even that different. They're just magnified. So I knew that going in, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I really want people constantly monitoring everything I do. And then it occurred to me, I did a lot of work around it, and it just, I really got it. I really got it. I understood what she meant. And now it's such a release. It's such a blessing to really understand and know what that means. And there's just this huge lift off your shoulders when you really figure out that, number one, I don't really want to be around people who are constantly criticizing. I just don't. So there's enough people out there that I feel like I can help. I feel like I'm given a mission, and I want you to think about that. What is your mission? So I know a lot of you struggle with this because you write to me about it. So what is your mission? Why are you here? Because if you have that firmly planted in your mind, what other people criticize you for is really not that important. It's are they in the trenches? Ask yourself, are they in the trenches helping me accomplish something? What are they doing to help? Or are they just sitting back and criticizing? Because remember, it's always easier to tear down someone else's building than it is to build one of your own. So it's a little easier to understand. I mean, when people don't have a certain confidence of their own, or they don't want to do the work on their own, it doesn't mean you have to go be mean to them. It doesn't mean you have to get upset with them. It's easier to step back and understand and realize and go, oh, okay, that person's probably in pain. I don't have to get involved in that. I just need to move forward with my mission. And then, there's another saying that I really love to Byron Katie's, and it is, defense is the first act of war. So the minute you get in the dirt, when you get in the mud with someone else and you start defending whatever they're saying, you're just going to get dirty. It's just, defense is the first act of war. And that's, whenever someone criticizes something that we're doing, we feel this need to rush in and defend ourselves, to defend whatever it is that they're saying bad about us. And is it true? Do you really have to defend it? Probably not. Does it matter? Right? So does it matter if you really defend what they're saying? Does it matter if what they're saying is true? Is it true? Maybe what they're saying is true. Maybe you did do something. Maybe you are, maybe you are a witch at certain times. Okay. So if you can just take it in for a second and go, yeah, that's probably true. I mean, I've had people call me names and I'm like, you say it like it's a bad thing. So, it's like I've worked really hard to become this powerful, to become this confident, to become this whatever. And so if you can just sort of take it in for a second, try not to defend it, ask yourself, is it true? And then one thing that I do that I've found that's really powerful is go to the end. Like, what is the very worst thing that can happen? A lot of times we defend ourselves out of fear. So we defend ourselves because we're really scared. Okay, is everyone going to find out? If they find out, what are they going to think of me? If they find out, oh my gosh, is it going to affect my career? Is it going to affect my family? Is it going to affect, certain things in my life? Is it, so go to the worst thing that can happen. I don't know. Is it really that bad? Because usually if we just own it, if we take responsibility for it, my experience is when people own things, when they take responsibility for things, most people can forgive that. What most people have a hard time dealing with is when people lie and they just keep trying to be slimy about it, right? And get out of things and step around them. It's like, yeah, okay. So I wasn't perfect. What would you like me to say? What would you like me to do about that? All right. It's like if you're waiting for me to be perfect, then I guess we're going to be waiting here a long time, right? So, but guess what I've learned because of that? So I'm here helping you, or I'm here helping you do this, or, I've learned so much because of that. Now, if you feel like you're still stuck somewhere, that's your work to do. That's if it's really bothering you that someone is saying something to you and you just can't get out of it, then maybe you need to take a look at it and go, this is bothering me because I don't really like that I'm still doing this, that I'm still stuck here. Then that's really good information. That's good information to know about yourself. If someone's criticizing you and saying, you know what, you're this, you're that, you do this, you do that, and you just can't sort of get out of that place, then maybe ask yourself and go, okay, I don't like this. This feels yucky. So maybe that person's right. And maybe just go, you know what, you're right. I need to work on this. This isn't who I want to be. But again, if you don't defend it and you just go, this feels yucky because I don't like it, then maybe I need to work on it. You're going to diffuse that situation. But criticism is, I have some notes here and I want to make sure I don't miss it because I get so much of this from so many of you. And even as small as like your health program, people start treating you differently. Oh, well, last week you were drinking and eating and blah, 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 blah. Now you're all self-righteous with your diet. It could be religion. It could be your diet. It could be whatever it is, a lifestyle change of any kind. And people want to criticize you when you make a change. All right. So you're right. But I'm trying to do better today. Just sort of take it in and go, you're right. And I've learned a lot. And now I know why I'm moving forward. So would you like to move forward with me? Do you want to hear what I've learned? If not, that's okay, but I'm still moving forward. And just defense is the first act of war. So, hurt people hurt people. So when someone's criticizing you, rather than just like getting really angry back at the person, stop and, think maybe where that person is coming from. And think about your tribe. Okay, so I'm going to pound on this issue of tribe. I'm going to go over it and over it and over it because it's so important. So when you're making up a tribe and you are thinking about the people in your tribe, are they criticizing you? And likewise, are you criticizing them? So I love the military expression. I love the warrior expression, no man left behind, because I've got mentors of all different types. I've got spiritual mentors. I've got health mentors. I've got business mentors. And guess what? Your mentors aren't perfect either. And so when you see someone that you consider to be a mentor or that you consider to be someone you really respect and admire, when you see them doing something or when they make a mistake, do you jump all over them? Do you criticize them? Or are you curious? Do you ask them, I'm curious, what was that about? Because they're not going to be perfect either. So think about your actions towards other people because that's likely what you're going to get back. And when you're making up your tribe, do you have a tribe that criticizes? Do you have a tribe that is forgiving? Do you have a tribe that allows for mistakes and questions and moving forward, and that gets in the trenches with you? Because you get to sort of pick and design your tribe, and tribes are very powerful, but they're very powerful for the positive or the negative. So you want to really think about the power of your tribe. Is it helping or is it hurting? And so you want to sort of think about that. And who you want in that tribe, because they're going to make a difference for you long term. And so I know a lot of people, when I get into this, some people will say, but they're, especially because I'm Christian, and a lot of people in the Christian community will say, but we are supposed to judge in certain ways. Okay, I'm probably going to get a lot of criticism on this. I think that judgment for the sake of discernment is really important. But judgment for the sake of judging others, you know what? I'm here to be judged and not to judge. So not that we all do it. I mean, I do it every single day, right? Someone cuts me off. I'm judging them in my head, but I have to stop myself and go, okay, whatever. As I do the same thing that everybody else does. So I'm here to judge and not be judged. We just have to recognize when we're doing it. So ask yourself, am I judging for the sake of discernment to keep me in line, to keep me doing better every day? Or am I judging for the sake of causing someone else pain? It's just sort of the way that I see it. Just kind of something that keeps me sort of on track. I just know that when the day comes, I don't want that judgment put on me the way that I can sometimes be harsh in my head. So I've learned, fortunately, to sort of monitor that, because I realized that sometimes when I'm harsh with other people, especially in my head, I don't let most of it out. But when I can get that way, it's because I'm really, really harsh with myself. So as I've learned to be more forgiving with myself and more loving with myself over time, I've also learned to be that way with other people. And those are just things I think that you need to look at. And as you move forward into your week, a couple of things I wanted you to stop and ask yourself. Ask yourself if what people are saying is true. Is it true? When they're criticizing you, is it true? Maybe it's not even true. So for example, we have people find the craziest stuff about us on the internet all the time. I mean, crazy stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, if you want to believe that, that's fine. I don't even know where that came from, but okay. Or they'll find something that's partially true, but then it gets all twisted and blown out of proportion. So is it true? But if it is true, someone might know something about your past or whatever. Okay, does it matter? The second thing I want you to think about, does it matter? In the big scheme of things, does it matter? And if it's still hurtful to you, why? Is it something you need to work on? Is it something you need to own and take responsibility for? Or does it not matter? And what is the worst thing that can happen? If the whole world knew, what's the worst thing that can happen? Are you willing to go, okay, so what? I made a mistake. Can you own it and take responsibility for it? That's the third thing. I think that, can you own it and take responsibility for it? Because that tends to just diffuse a situation. And are the people who are criticizing you, are they in the trenches with you? Because for me, if they're not, it doesn't really matter to me. It's okay. Just we're not in the same tribe. So that's okay with me. And just be careful about doing it. Just be very careful about getting in the middle and being defensive about things and throwing it back at someone, because I've just discovered over time, working with a whole lot of people and even myself personally, you can quickly find yourself in the same situation. So when you criticize others, you can quickly find yourself in the same situation. I actually think that is my lesson from God. So I can judge someone else and be really harsh and judgmental, and then all of a sudden I will find myself in that situation. I'm like, how did I even end up here? And it's because I feel like I'm supposed to learn a lesson. So just be really careful about doing that, because I just think that you can find yourself in some places that are really uncomfortable that you may not want to be. So I just think that as we learn to forgive and take each other to a different level and be more curious than furious, as my husband would say, we will build a stronger tribe. So I'm going to give you one quick example before we close, because I think it's really powerful, and I think children teach us so much. We had a young girl. We have a huge family. So we have a young girl in our family who was struggling with a lot of stuff and not getting along with her parents and doing some harmful behavior. And so I was really helping her one day she was talking to me, and she was struggling with some stuff, and she was about the same age my daughter is now. And she was struggling with some stuff at school, and one of the kids at school in 7th grade, because this is the age when drugs come up and sexual conversations and things like that, said to her, came out and told her that she thought she was bisexual. Now, she hadn't like experimented with anything, just in her mind, she thought she was bisexual. And this sort of freaked out this young girl. And she was like, this is like going to ruin her reputation at school. She's not going to have friends. Everyone's going to be mean to her. And, you know, again, it's like, be curious, not furious, right? I could have quickly told her, like, you know, a lot of parents do, judgmental things to say and do. But the be curious, not furious, you know, quickly popped in my head because you want to react sometimes. And I said, that's really interesting. I said, so what do you think? And I just asked her a question. And she said, well, she's my friend, but I'm a little freaked out. And I said, okay, so think about why you're freaked out about it. And I said, but I want you to stop for a minute before you actually like go forward. I want you to think about it from her perspective. And so she brought up some things like our religious views and things like that. And she said, do you have any friends who are gay? Now, I'm not going to get into any kind of religious debate here. That's not what this site is about. But she said, do you have any friends who are gay? And I said, of course I do. I know lots of people who are gay doing what we do. We know lots of people from all over the world, all different religions, all different, you know, walks of life. And she said, oh. And she said, so it doesn't bother you? And I said, honey, what other people do, it's not for me to judge other people. I'm here to be judged. I don't have to do what they do. I don't have to follow what they do. And I don't have to take on their beliefs in order to be kind to them, be respectful, and just know that person, as long as what they're doing is not harmful to me or other people. So I can share my beliefs as long as we do it in a respectful way. So she sort of took that in, and I said, but I want you to think about one more thing. Are you going to be like everyone else? So when people find out about this, they're going to be very cruel. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very cruel to this girl. And so you just need to ask yourself, am I going to be like everyone else? Am I going to be unique and be myself and handle this my own way based on my values and who I think this person is? Or am I going to just follow what everyone else is doing and be mean to her? And so she just sort of took it in. She's like, no, I can't imagine doing that. I said, okay, just questions. So you need to think about it and let me know what you come up with. I'm just curious what you come up with. So I just think kids are amazing. I think this age is such a fun age because what they come up with is astounding to me. Their thought process and how they handle things. And, you know, if you are willing, they're so honest. If you're not, it's amazing what they will hide from you. So I want you to go into your day thinking about those things. Is it true? Does it matter? What's the worst thing that can happen? Own it, take responsibility, and just be careful who you have in your tribe. And remember, defense is the first act of war. And what other people think of you is not really any of your business. So I hope you have a great day. Just a little something because of all of the information you guys send me. Please keep your comments coming. Please keep your questions coming. It's how I answer you guys throughout the week. Okay, have a great day.